and individuals as well. All right, gentlemen, let's move on. The continued reform of our judicial system took another positive turn in Kwara State, north-central Nigeria. The state government took the welfare of judges at the state high court a step higher when Governor AbdulRahman AbdulRazaq presented 11 sport utility vehicles to the judges, including a 2024 model Toyota Land Cruiser for the state chief judge, Justice Abiodun Adebara. At the official presentation of the vehicles to the judges at the state high court in Ilorin, Justice Adebara said 6 of the vehicles will be presented to newly appointed judges. Now let's share that moment with you and we'll be back to discuss it.
The last time they were given vehicle was over 8 years ago. You can just think how that an 8-year-old vehicle it will look like in terms of its efficiency, and you know, some of us are not even, our jurisdiction is not in Ilorin here. So we need a very efficient vehicle that will be able to do this. So with this new vehicle, it will enhance our job. It will also enhance even the dignity of the office of a judge.
Gentlemen, are you noticing what I'm noticing? I mean, in the last couple of weeks on this program, especially journalists and Hangouts on Sunday, we've talked about several governors who've been sitting up, who have been doing the needful. How do you?
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good development. Importantly, because in as much as we are very conscious that we must sustain separation of powers, but part of the conditions given by the National Judicial Commission is the comfort of judges, and governors have responsibilities in this aspect. And if you look at our country, the question of security is very important for. If they don't have vehicles that make them secured, it's a big problem. And in Kwara State, the last time the judges got this kind of vehicle was 8 years ago. If you are using the car after 8 years, a judge for that matter, you can imagine the impact years after, 8 years and all that. And some of these judges live outside Ilorin. So for them to drive down to, to the city center, it's a whole bigger problem, security and then their comfort. I think we should do everything possible to ensure that there is comfort for judges. If judges are not comfortable, if their living conditions are not favorable, it's a huge source of temptation for them to manipulate the judicial system, and it's going to affect the deliverance of a human right. So I think I commend what the governor has done. We may be worried that with the economy, these are very expensive, but they are just 12. So we are not talking about buying for 100, 200. So when you look at it in that context, I think it's not a sacrifice, it's too much. But we should also link it up with greater reforms in the judiciary, especially what people pay to seek justice in terms of enforcing your fundamental human rights, comfort of working equipment for judges, promotion, especially magistrates, not just high court judges, state high court judges, magistrates, in terms of training, in terms of judicial reform. I think all these things should be taken holistically. But I think I commend what the governor has done. It's a very remarkable step in the right direction, and I think he's writing his name in the history of in a great book of history.
All right. Even according to the report says in February this year, 5 Toyota frontrunner SUVs were allocated to 5 of the state's high court judges from the money made available by the state government under the 2023 budget. I mean, this goes back to say that you cannot underestimate the importance of better welfare for judges.
Yes, exactly. I remember when our current president, was governor then in Lagos. The massive reform that he did in the judiciary, is what is speaking for him till today. And that is why Lagos seems to be the #1 when it comes to dispensation of justice, as well as the welfare of judges in Lagos is top-notch. Not only that, if you notice that some of the courts in Lagos, you go to some high courts in Nigeria, the judges are still using their hands to write cases and their rulings. But In Lagos, they've gone digital. Most courts in Lagos, they've gone digital. You know, there was a time I even heard that, okay, when they were saying during the COVID era, they also went digital. You know, so judges we need to get to a certain point where our judiciary, you know, will be able to match up with what is happening outside there. You know, so this that the governor has done is a wonderful step in the right direction, because right now, most of these judges will feel comfortable. They are not going to be scared going into, maybe they have one 504, Peugeot 504. One tire, the tire is leaking somewhere or something is wrong with it. It doesn't have wiper and they are looking tattered. That is because once you look at a judge, people who go out, who have cases with the judge, what they do is they size up the judge. That is correct. The first thing. So when they size the judge up, they can easily know how much they can use to entice him or her. So, but when you take care of judges, it will be difficult for anybody to want to go there and begin to say he wants to bribe a judge. Because the judge will say, what do you want to give me? I have a car, I have my house, I have everything, I'm comfortable. Because they are the only custodian of our laws. The major custodians of our law are the judges. Because they are the ones that will interpret it in such a way that you and I will be able to understand and be able to live well. Yes, the lawmakers will do their part, but they are the ones that will sit day and night, burn candles, and break it down, break the laws that have been made for us, break it down in such a way that we'll be able to understand. You know. So with this, I think all states governors should emulate this. We should make sure that the judiciary is being taken care of. Our judges live up to that expectation. Whereby once, even if I'm in the school, I should be able to say, I want to be a judge.
Absolutely.
Not that when people go to school, they'll say, I just want to be a lawyer and that's all. I'll be a SAN and then I'll leave. You know. And they always said something about promotion. Promote them. Give them good facilities whereby when they go to the office, they know that, yes, this is my office and they are comfortable. Nobody can attack them. And of course, there won't be external influence as well. No. When they are when a judge is comfortable, he can decide a case, you know, based on what is written in the letters in the Constitution or the law. He won't be afraid. You know, there was a time, you know, in the media they were trying to hound the judges, trying to attack judges, putting their pictures left, right, and center. You know, that alone causes stress on the judges, or even our justices back then. I remember it was during the presidential election. You know, tribunal. You know, that alone, we don't know. Some people don't know the kind of stress that we put on these justices. But when a justice or a judge is not living fine, and then they are stressing him outside his going, they are threatening his life, they are threatening his family. Do you know what that means? That if somebody is not strong enough, he can decide to step back.
I agree with you.
You understand? But if he's comfortable, and we are doing everything humanly possible for him to be comfortable, just like the governor is doing, he will do what he feels that is right. And judges, after God, like they say, is people say it's government. after God is government. But they also have the rights to even send somebody to jail or to kill somebody, you know, to send somebody, give you life in prison. That is a judge.
Right. So, I mean, about governors, some governors sitting up, I mean, I cannot say all of them, but some governors sitting up and waking up to their responsibilities. I mean, last week we talked about Ekiti State Governor, Imo Enugu. Do you think this is a reflection of what they see at the federal level? I mean, they see a president who is leading by example. They see a president who is trying to fix the economy, who is doing all he can to fulfill his promises to Nigerians.
Yeah. I think that is what they are also trying to do. If you notice, the president recently sent a bill for the increment in their salaries too. You know, I think the CGN now per annum, will be about 64 million naira plus other allowances. So if you are a CGN, who will come and be bribing you on? You know, same with the president of the Court of Appeal. You know, about 62 million. So it's at least a step from what it used to be. You know, just let the judiciary have a face. Let it have a structure whereby it will be very, very difficult for people to go and begin to tempt judges or justices with money. You know, it's very, very important. I think all that is what other state governors are doing. They are looking at what the president is doing. They are taking a cue. I keep saying it. Their offices has to be conducive too. It has to be secured. Because if a judge is carrying SUV, big SUV, and then his office is also not secured, it becomes a problem. So I hope the governor would also extend this to where they are staying, where they are, where their offices are. So make sure that they are well secured, so that when they are doing their work, they should do it without fear of him.
All right, Adeyi, let me have your last take on this.
Yeah, it's quite commendable effort, and it's not just about the vehicles bought for the judges alone, but about judicial reform, to ensure justice, to ensure judiciary is more responsive to, doing its work.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on quickly to our next story. Peace is still far from the Ganduje war.